Hi, thanks for your question. So, we're going to work on three different things, and this is how we grew his ability to do life skills, especially hygiene and toileting skills. So, for one, you're going to grow their fine motor skills. Sometimes they just don't have the dexterity yet to do certain tasks with their hands. Two is going to be providing them with patterns so that they can figure out pattern recognition. And the last thing is going to be providing them opportunities to practice it every single day so that they can grow it into muscle memory. So if we start with teeth brushing, when we first started, I was brushing his teeth for him. And then we fade the prompt by giving opportunities for him to start to do things on his own. So first I brushed his teeth, then we phased that out, and then what I did was allow him to do it hand over hand. I'd place my hand over his and instruct him on what to do. This is where we implement pattern recognition. So I would take a number that he would remember and we would repeat it over and over. So 5 on this side, 5 in the front, 5 on this side, 5 here, 5 in the front, 5 on the bottom, 5 on the tongue. Spit, and then he knew exactly what to do. From that point, what we did was I then scaled back and I did not do hand over hand. I modeled. I was next to him with my brush as we completed the task of 5s on the rows of bottoms and tops. After that, I scaled back and faded that prompt. And then he would brush his teeth using that pattern without my assistance at all. Now, I brush at night for him after he brushes, just to go in after and make sure that it's completely clean and there's no residue of food or sugar left over on his teeth. Also, you want to try variations of brushes. You can do a traditional brush, but if the hand and fine motor skills is awkward and not yet able to brush the way they need to, then try maybe those 3-sided brushes that hug every corner of the teeth. I'll put the picture right here. Then we tried electric toothbrushes, and that was to grow his ability to tolerate that kind of sensory input because we were preparing him to get his haircut. So the buzzing assisted him in getting used to what the clippers might feel like. Next is going to be toileting skills. So we're going to create patterns and fade prompts again. However, when we first started, I wiped for him, but I would still speak and verbally let him know what the steps are so that he could start to memorize them. And then we moved on to me assisting him with hand over hand, teaching him how to wipe and how to collect the toilet paper. So he would go 1, 2, 3, 4, rip. So we're doing 4s, wipe himself, collect another 4, rip, wipe himself, like that, and we're going to do that 4 times so he remembers 4s and 4s. I would then get wipes and I would collect 3 wipes. So 1 sheet, 2 sheets, and 3 sheets. Because he deals with sensory processing, wet textures always really gross him out. So I typically will try to squeeze out any excess water so that he doesn't get grossed out and prepare it for him. And we'll get 2 of these. So after he wipes with his toilet paper, he will then go in and wipe himself with 2 of these, 2 sets of 3s. He started to do it solely on his own, and then I would go in and make sure with a final wipe that it was absolutely clean. Then I faded that prompt because he got it and he figured out how to do it completely by himself and he was spotless. And so that was it, and he was done. Just keep creating opportunities. Let him do it every single day to allow him the opportunity to practice and grow. The ankle is weird, it's hard to do that, but once they get it, they get it. So keep offering opportunities, keep practicing, no matter how long it takes. Also, it's important to note that our children are different. Their needs are different. Some autistic children are far older, still in diapers, still wetting beds, still having trouble figuring out their bodies, or even figuring out the sensations that's going on. What is this sensation? This means I need to pee. This means I need to use the bathroom and go number 2. So give them some grace and give yourself some grace. Remove the stigma about feeling like, oh my gosh, my child is this age and they should have been and they could have been. Forget the shouldas, couldas, and wouldas, because we are on a different path. Our children might take longer, and that's okay. Next, we're gonna move to bathing and personal hygiene when it comes to showering. Before he goes in the shower, he's gonna prepare his items. So he's gonna need a shirt, some underwear, some pants. First thing you wanna do is, if you're gonna use body wash or soap, whatever you use, I cut his soap sometimes into small pieces so that he can just work it into a lather. We'll be able to see it on our skin, and that will give him the idea that he needs to first be covered in foam, and then secondly, rinse it off. When he puts it on his skin, he sees that he has scrubbed that. If he doesn't see that area, that means he hasn't scrubbed that area yet. And so once he does his entire body, he will know that he needs to rinse that film off. Okay, so with showering, it's the same concept. We give him the steps and we create patterns of numbers or steps, and then I fade the prompt. So first I showered him and scrubbed his body for him. Then I faded that prompt and I did hand over hand and showed him all the important parts and steps. Then I faded that and allowed him to do it himself, but I taped a list of each body part on the wall so that he could read it and do the steps, and also put a timer so that he knew how long he had to take so he wouldn't be wasting all the water. And then I fade the prompt and he memorized it. Now it's muscle memory, and I can leave him and he does everything. So first he takes everything off, he puts it on the floor, because when he comes out of the shower, he is going to step on it, and that's going to be his reminder that these are dirty and soiled now and they need to go in the hamper to wash. So after he takes everything off, he's going to do his steps. He's going to start with his face, his neck, his ears behind, and then he's gonna do his arms. And I used to model on the outside. As he was bathing, he would see me doing the steps. That was before I wrote them down. And then he would move to his armpits, his stomach, his belly button, his legs, okay? And then his back. This motion is still tricky for him to do. So he's still working on that motion, and I'm still helping him figure that motion out. After he does that, he's gonna do the back of his legs and he's gonna do his penis. And I say that because it's important for them to know the anatomically correct name, not wee wee and pee pee and all that other little stuff, real names, so that they can communicate and express about their bodies. And then he's going to do the back, and now is the time where we incorporate more preteen and teenage care. He's going to lotion deodorant, and then he's going to spray himself with cologne and put some chapstick on. And when it comes to washing his hair, he doesn't like the feeling of water dripping down his face, so he might use a rag to really scrub in his scalp. I hope this gives you a better idea of how we transition from me doing everything for him to him slowly taking on the task little by little as I faded the prompts. Now he is as independent as possible, and as he gets closer to his teen and preteen years, we are working on more growth in that area, be it cooking his food, his breakfast, preparing it, lunch and meal preps, that kind of thing. They're gonna do this exactly the same every single day with the same amount of number, and that will give them the muscle memory. They will memorize it and be able to independently do it on their own.